Right, so let's have a look at creating a simple contact form with a map and a fillable form with required fields that your visitors can complete and send to you. So the first thing we need to do is go into Pages because we need a new page. So we've got a couple of options. We can just click New Page down here, or if you want it to create a collapsible menu, we can choose Add a Subpage down here. So I'm going to go and click New Page. Okay, and this is going to be my contact form. So I'm going to click Done. Okay, it appears on the menu you see there across the top. We've got Home, and then we've got Contact. Same situation as with the other pages we've created. It gives us this heading and this banner and this whole load of empty space down here at the bottom. So before I can insert a form, I need to create one. So I'm going to open a new tab and I need to just type in here forms.google.com, and that will take me to the Google Forms portion of my website. Okay, so what I need to do is just create a blank form. Okay, so we can just call it, oh yeah, don't really need that. Just call it contact us. Okay, contact us. And then a little description, please fill in the form. Something along those lines. Okay. And then we want 3 questions for a basic form. So I'm going to change this from a multiple choice to a short answer. And I'm going to ask them to give me their name. And I'm going to make that a required field, so they have to complete it. Then I can just duplicate this because I want exactly the same thing again for email. Okay, and now the last one, if I just duplicate one more time, instead of short answer, I'm going to give them a whole paragraph because I want them to write maybe a message in there to give me, a little bit of feedback or ask a question or something along those lines. And again, I'm going to make this a required field. Now, the only other thing we might want to think about is changing the theme color so that it matches, a little bit better the theme of the website that we've built, and we can change the background color. There are a few font options, but in all honesty, they're not great. The default font is probably going to be better. Last thing I need to think about here is just changing the name. So, we can find it again in a minute. And if you want to put it in a different folder, we have the option to move that over here. So if I just preview this, this is what my contact form looks like. You can see it's required, and all these little red stars are telling us we need to complete these before we can submit this form. Okay, that's pretty much all there is to that, filling in that form. The only other options you might need to look at in the settings is, whether you want it to be restricted to people within your organization, if you're within an organization, and whether you want people to be able to go back and change their answers afterwards. But generally, you don't get that kind of thing on a web form. So let's go back now to our contact page. Go to Insert. We scroll down until we find Forms. And the form we just created should hopefully be at the top of the list. If it's not, then you might have to find it, or you can search for it over here. And then we just click Insert. And we can see it drops it in. Okay, there's a couple of things to think about here. If we want to fit a map in next to it, we might want to, shrink the width a little bit. And we need to make sure at the bottom that we're seeing the whole of the form, because you don't want people to be scrolling inside that box. Okay, and the last thing that we need maybe is a map. So if I click here on Map, And then it takes me to Google Maps and it says, right, what's the postcode of the place? And I type the postcode in and then it will say, oh yeah, great, there it is. And I just select, and there's my map. I'm going to move mine just to the side over here and then move my form just up next to it like that. Okay, you could have them underneath each other, but it makes it easier, I think, if you can see them side by side when you first land on the page. So if I just preview this, okay, there's my contact form with my required fields, no scrolling because we stretched it to fit. And there's my interactive Google map there. That's what it looks like on a tablet and underneath each other if you're on a smartphone, smaller sized screen. So that's how to make a basic contact form with an interactive map using the new Google site.